This Unitec project explores broader notions of reading that encompass Indigenous epistemologies and ontologies. It uses the richness of the wharenui environment to engage and support Māori learners in their literacy and language learning.
Any wharenui is a world of knowledge. My old people spoke about the wharenui as an encyclopedia. This one, ngākau mahaki, the humble heart, and when we look around ngākau mahaki, we see a lot of opportunities for learning.
It's to do with helping people think about what a text is and using this beautiful house as a very rich library. And it's a library full of narratives, full of history, full of cosmology, full of philosophies. And so by bringing people into the wharenui, we're able to explore reading in a way that doesn't really happen in the classroom or doesn't happen as well.
I use this wharenui quite often in my programs, workshops, with students, with staff. There's so much history in here that needs to be told.
Whakaaro and raranga, carving and weaving are used to extract literacy from Indigenous cultural contexts. Lecturer Hirawini Easton believes text is more than just words on paper.
Pick a po, pick a carving. Which is the carving that you like? What is the carving saying to you? One side is my Māori side. One side is my Welsh side. I am interpreting this text to suit me. And that's what we do with text. When we're reading, we interpret. Sometimes the interpretations are misinterpreted. Kei te pai, that's where the learning starts. One side is my Māori side, Tangaroa, my grandfather's name, Te Wharenui. My Welsh side, strong connections to the Druids. So this popo, this carving, was in this whare before I came here at Unitec. But when I walked in and I saw this, I knew my place was here. So I asked the students to choose a carving. Look at the carving. What is the carving telling you? The text within the carving engages the student. I asked the people to walk around to adopt a po, go up to one of our carvings, one that calls out to them. We call that tūtaki, engage. And tell us the story. Why did you stand there? Tell us something about that carving or the weaving. And it's just a way of engaging the people with the house.
In this way, holistic Māori pedagogies like Mason Jury's Te Whare Tapa Whā model can be aligned with the reading strand progressions. Here's a list of the progressions and how they relate to Te Whare Tapa Whā. Vocabulary is aligned with tapa wairua, the ontology, epistemologies and genealogy of Māori identity.
We look at wairua, we say spiritual, but I encourage people to go beyond spiritual. What is it you mean? And I look at it as the place of inspiration, motivation, the place where aspirations lay. So when I pick up a text and I'm reading a book, I bring those things, those concepts into it as well. Wairua, two waters, DNA, our biologies, that we have maternal and paternal capabilities. So when I look at this taha wairua, I look at myself and think, okay, what are my maternal and paternal elements I can bring into my teaching? So engaging the students, I ask them, go back to your histories of what you know and how you know it. Look on your mother's side, your maternal. Look on your father's side, your paternal. Look for the clues that can help you today, 2012.
Decoding is aligned with tapahinanaro, the psychology and procession of communication.
On this popo we have representatives in text of our traditional Māori belief systems. Te taha hinengaro, philosophies, doctrines that can help us in today's world, can help us with tertiary study. We can go back to our points of religious belief to help us with our studies. Students from Taranaki see the feathers, the raukura. They have engaged with this popo. They feel safe. They see the raukura. People from the uruwera see mahaya. They feel safe. They've engaged. So all of our popo in our whare ngā kaumahaki are places of engagement for all of our students.
Language and text features is aligned with tapa whānau. This uses the sociology of family relationships to understand how words work together to create meaning.
Te tapa whānau, Mason Drury spoke about the social side of a person. Within the text we say te tapa whānau is the whakapapa, the connection. So if we're looking at words, we look at the connections of words to other words, the connections of prefix, suffix, and how they are recorded in the text. Those words are important as whakapapa because they make the sentence. So we ask students when they decode their text, pick out the words you do know, pick out the words you don't know. What are the key words? How do they fit in the sentence? So when we look at this example of text, we see words, but these words tell us stories. Stories of our history that emerged because of the Treaty of Waitangi.
Comprehension is aligned with tapa tinana. This uses concepts about the body, growth and physiology to locate and organise information from text.
Te tapa tinana, the physical side of our house. It's also the side where action is. It is the behaviour that our students have towards the text. So we encourage them to use all the texts, all the tapa wairua, tapa whānau, tapa hinengaro, to help them with the physical of the text.
The final aspect of the progressions, reading critically, relates to all aspects of te whare tapa whā. It reflects that all readers and writers bring their own cultural perspectives to text, ideas and metaphors.
The whare tapa whā as a model deals with the whole person, the spiritual, mental, social, physical. It is the same with the text and the way the students interact, engage with the text. We only want them to do the mental and the physical side of it. We forget the social and the spiritual. If we look at the text as a whare tapa whā, it gives more opportunities for the students to engage with the text.
The overall aim of this project is to embed language and literacy in teaching activities in ways that take account of Māori worldviews and lived experience.
It's a partnership model between Māori and non-Māori. And so it's great to see these lecturers taking on board pedagogies that we know as, as well as our hand, and they're taking them on board as part of their teaching and valuing it, and sharing it.
One of the things that we are trying to do, especially this year at Unitec, is to recognise that diversity in our student body, not just in terms of Māori students and also with Pacifica students because of the strategies that we've got in place, but that all students come into tertiary and academic study as foreigners. Some are a bit better prepared than others, but if they are, for example, first in their family to come to tertiary study, they face a whole lot of things. And so that element of diversity is an important learning experience for our teachers as they face such diverse classrooms.
My observations of students seeing this as a resource, and educators too, is that it's opened a lot of varieties. It's opened a lot of ways for them to engage with education and to embrace different practices and to try things which they haven't tried before, because the existence of the wharenui gives those approaches a certain kind of credibility.
For me, what it does is, by putting it up against something like the learning progressions, which has its own whakapapa and its own philosophy, and then by bringing the two together, and the wealth is in the discussion that happens as we try and say, how do we align this? You know, it's like a Venn diagram. You know, there's the learning progressions here and te whare tapa here, and then there's the bits where we can meet, and it's those bits where we can meet where I think the kind of explosion or transformative learning happens.
By starting with Māori literacy, by starting with the basic concepts of literacy first, but doing it within a Māori context, we made it a central part of what literacy in Aotearoa really is. So rather than thinking of literacy as simply written English, we were able to initially explore the concept of text and reading in much broader ways. And initially the first text we really introduced students to was the wharenui itself. That was the key idea, that they were decoding and comprehending something other than a written traditional type of text. The end result was that students had a much broader understanding of what literacy was, and they found it a very positive experience.